What's going on, everybody? This is Joseph. You're listening again to Set to Fail podcast. And this is a very special episode because we're going to do a video podcast together with a special guest as well, Sandra Stepan. So, Sandra is the co founder at SnapAdvantage, and she started and grew two brands at seven figures. Wow. Congratulations. Welcome to the show, Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here, Joseph. I feel very special with all the special introduction and the video and everything.
Awesome. Yes. And, to our listeners, I always say that Set to Fail podcast is about really trying to reverse engineer the failure insights we gather through the conversations so we can, learn together and eventually try to find business opportunities out of it. Right. So, maybe we can start with a quick unpacking of your background, Sandra, so our listeners can learn more about yourself and also how you became the Beyonce of social selling. So I like that. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds great. Before I was a marketer in the previous life, I was a salesperson, hence the Beyonce of social selling. I had to find a way to make myself stand out in the sea of prospecting on LinkedIn. So that's where that came from. I've been working in marketing for the past 6 years. Currently, I'm the co-founder and creative director of marketing agency SnapAdvantage. We work with scaling e-commerce businesses that are spending a little bit too much money on ads because ads haven't been performing as well in the last couple of years. And they need to diversify their traffic sources and leverage their assets. So we do a lot of community building. We get more out of the current customers and create relationships with brand ambassadors, with user-generated content, partnerships, referral pieces, as well as email marketing, text marketing, and Pinterest. Before I did this, I actually started in my marketing career as an e-commerce expert. I started 6 years ago with a jewelry store in the meditation and crystals niche. And that's when my partner had actually just started it. He took me to a mastermind with a lot of marketers in Bali. I fell in love and I said, you know what, when I'm coming back to Canada, I have to quit the job that I absolutely loved to start my own thing. So I joined him. We co-founded our first business together. We grew it to seven figures, then we sold it, went to travel around the world. And then in the meantime, we started our marketing agency, put a little bit of a pause so we can focus on a second store, which is a hearing aid brand that we also grew to seven figures in less than a year. And yeah, that's where we are here. I actually rebooted my agency in 2019 when Facebook just basically shut down our ads account. So a few years ago, most of your revenue still kind of came from Facebook ads and Google ads. So we were after our biggest month in sales in Q4, close to Christmas, that our ad account was shut down. So I said, oh no, I need to do something that will bring me traffic and sales. So that's when I started really focusing on diversifying traffic sources. And now that's what we do for our clients in the agency.
Oh wow! So you before you're siloed to, let's say, Facebook only, and then apparently you needed to branch out. So that's
Yeah.
awesome, and I love the energy. I love how you do things in LinkedIn and other social media, because it's like you're doing the output that you
Mhm.
provide to your customers. So I think that's really important, especially if you're trying to build your clientele and trying to showcase the output, the eventually the case study, because you already I call it you're eating your own dog food, if you will, lack of a
Exactly.
better term. Yeah, so I like that. And let's pedal back a little bit. So from your life and career experiences, what are some of the failures or maybe the challenges you encountered? You mentioned earlier about Facebook,
Mhm.
but I'm guessing there's a lot, right? So how did you overcome the challenges? And then this will really help benefit a lot of our listeners because they actually try to find out, how you guys won towards the end.
Yeah, when you presented this podcast to me, I loved it because we are so afraid of failure, right? But failure is such a big part of success. I genuinely don't think that you can succeed, whatever success means to you, without failing. You gotta hit your head on the wall just a few times until you get it right. So yeah, that was one of our, I'll call it setbacks in our businesses. But even before then, if I were to go back to probably our biggest failure was we took our foot off the gas when things were going okay and we're kind of coasting. So back in 2017, we lived in Bali for 6 months, and I had a good enough amount of clients with my agency. It was manageable. It's just myself, my co-founder, and a marketing assistant. And our pipeline kind of dried up. I didn't fill my pipeline. We had a few e-com businesses that failed and they ate up a lot of our funds. So we became insanely financially stuck. Like I mean, like we lost almost all of our clients. We weren't that because we're trying to start a few businesses. Things weren't going our way. We actually went back to Canada and we went back to work. And I know that's something that no entrepreneur wants to do or even admit of doing as well, going
Exactly.
back to a job, right? But for me, that was the only way that I could actually create another business. I knew always that I wanted to continue being an entrepreneur, but sometimes I think it's okay to take a step back, go back to work, pay your bills, pay your rent, pay your food. And we built HearGift, which is our hearing aid brand, between the hours of 5:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. Wake up, have coffee, work, quick shower on the way to work. It was a over 1 hour commute one way. I would like check emails, take orders through emails, open up my laptop at work, just kind of quickly putting in the orders. Yeah, and then coming back home from 7 p.m. until about 9 p.m. That's all we did. So we didn't cook for like 6 months. We just we eliminated all distractions in order to focus on our business. So that was how we were able to not care about the profit so much, but actually working on our business and continue growing our business, improving the concept. And then once our business became profitable, then we had to give up work. I would say that was one of our biggest setbacks because it taught so much about us. And I work with my spouse, so learning about each other and in times of need, in times of a little bit of financial and business hardship, I think really brought us together quite a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And I think the important lesson there as well is taking ownership of your life, right? So, and a lot of people, taking ownership could be sometimes negative to a lot of folks, but really for me, realizing that, you take control of your freedom because you're trying to do what it takes. So that's awesome. That's great to hear. And congratulations for your success now with SnapAdvantage. So when setting up the company, I assumed there were roadblocks as well, obstacles. Yeah. So how did you kind of, stay motivated in the process in doing that?
Lots of roadblocks. And Serge, my partner, he calls me sometimes an emotional roller coaster because I would go from like an insane high where I'm like, yes, I got a new client, this batch is going great, to an insane low where it's like, oh, things are not working well. And I worry and I stress and I literally dream about the projects that we have. Over the years, I learned to swap out motivation for discipline. I like motivation. I like when I'm feeling top of the world, but the reality is I don't wake up every day surrounded by butterflies. Sometimes it's surrounded by worms, or I guess the dog food that you were talking about earlier. Kibbles can be delicious, I guess. I do try to choose discipline over motivation. So long term, I have the motivation, and my long term motivation is kind of like a blanketed over years. where it's why I start doing this, why I'm doing this. It's because I want a certain lifestyle. I want to achieve a certain professional, I guess, experience and other achievements. But day to day, it would be the discipline and not a motivation. It's showing up and delivering on the commitments that I made to my clients. It's, writing Black Friday emails this morning instead of being on TikTok, which I really would have loved to be on, but it's Black Friday, so I can't do that.
Nice. So yeah, you mentioned you were just as a quick segue. So you focused on e-commerce, right? So and then you help organizations, e-commerce organizations succeed. So maybe for the benefit of our listeners, from an industry perspective, how do you do that? And what are the things that like tick boxes, so to speak, that help
e-commerce businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the businesses that we work with, they are not startups. They have a little bit of a tenure and they're in their space, and they feel like they're stuck. Scaling is not profitable anymore. Scaling is bringing them revenue, but it's not bringing them profit. So the main thing that we focus on is looking for any assets they have that we can leverage. So one thing can be they have a huge email marketing list they're not taking advantage of, or a huge text list they're not taking advantage of. And yes, every business emails, a couple times a month, 2 to 4 times a month, but segmenting it and not just using it for sales, but setting up referral packages so their customers are bringing in more customers, or creating user-generated content. Right now, consumers trust brand ambassadors and influencers a lot more than they trust advertisements by brands, somewhere around 60 to 70% of them. It can also be using your email marketing list for reputation management, maybe sending out an email asking for testimonials and reviews that will help you increase your reputation, your Google ranking, and so on. Overall, consulting them, providing strategy and execution at the same time, and making sure that they also do their homework and work with us and are giving us the tools that we need to have in order to make them successful. So typically, we're looking at brands that they're scaling. They want to do a little bit more than just ads, and we're either building and or leveraging their assets to bring in more sales and more traffic to their website.
Awesome. The reason I asked that question is because in North America, obviously, it's already a strong independent industry, right? So, but for us, let's say for Philippines, we're just starting to embrace that. So to the benefit of our clients, of our listeners, do you work with global companies as well as APAC and all?
So we mostly work with North America, or at the very least, companies that sell in North America. So 90% of our clients are in North America. Pretty much 80% of them are in the US, a few of them in Canada. We do work with brands from other countries. Like we have brands we work with in Israel, in Norway, in Saudi Arabia, but they all sell to the United States market. There are a lot of laws and regulations on different continents in different countries, and it's a little bit hard to keep up with them. And we're just sticking to what we know and sticking to where our expertise lies.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And being, in business, and also being a leader, being a people manager for a long time now, how do you view career growth? Let's say, from a failure and learning perspective, how do you, help your teams, the people that join you? How do you help them, carve their trajectory in terms of success?
I do think failure is necessary for everybody, including our team. Of course, it's my job to make sure that our team doesn't fail in a way that affects our clients or our projects a lot, because that wouldn't be fun. That would be maybe even devastating. But I do think that they do need to fail a little bit. So on one hand, we give them the training, the tools they need in order to succeed, which are based on minus their just failings and failures in the past so they can learn from our mistakes. But on the other hand, we also let them test and try and have their own style at work. So they don't have to just copy me or copy Serge, but impose their own ideas. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But there's always a little bit of wiggle room and creative room for creative output. We can do that because for most projects that we're employed to work on, we do quite a little bit more than we're employed to do. So we always do the basics that's in our contracts, but we like to act as consultants and strategists, and we meet with clients and we give them other ideas they can implement in their businesses. And that's where that creativity can really help them.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And in terms of case studies, working with clients, right? I'm assuming you have a lot of clients. Were there a few ones that were very challenging, and then with good reason you were able to flip it around and it become a success story, and that client became satisfied? So
yeah, absolutely. There were some that were difficult projects to work on and they didn't work out, and that's when we can kind of shake hands and say, hey, it's not working out, but I'm sure we'll find someone else. But there are lots that were challenging that worked out. One of my absolute favorite projects that I worked on was a pretty big company. They're around $15-17 million when we started working with them. They had a lot of good stuff going on in their business, but unfortunately a lot of negative reviews. Not from a percentage wise, but because of the sheer volume of sales they did, it looked like a lot. So their Yelp was at like 1.8 stars. Their Google was at like 2 point or 3 point something stars. And they really needed that reputation management piece to help them grow. So I worked with them for about a year and a bit. We managed to change a few of their customer support systems where they replied faster to emails, they reply faster to phones, work with their operations manager to manage all these customers they had, and segmented their email marketing list to look for the VIP customers that have purchased either a specific amount or over X number of sales. And we asked them for candid reviews and testimonials. So we brought their Google reviews from 3 stars to 4.4 on all 3 of their listings. We brought their Yelp up to over 4 stars. And after that 1 year that worked together, they were at $21 million a year. So that was pretty cool to see the power of reviews. It's crazy. If you go up 1 star on Google, in the immediate quarter of doing that, you can see a growth of up to like 20-25% in sales. It just matters so much. People are looking at reviews, they're looking you up. So controlling the narrative of what's being told about your business online is so imperative to big businesses, especially that need that 1, 2, 3 extra percent, right, in sales to be more profitable or not profitable this quarter, let's say. That was one of them. If you're on another one, other one that I had last year around this time, they're still working with us. They had quite a bad experience with a marketer that ended up wiping a lot of their email data. So if you know anything about email marketing, data is king. Data is so important. So they were a referral and they were very reluctant to work with me. It was headbutting in meetings. It was literally like almost like shouting in meetings. It was not a one-to-one conversation. It was like me to you and that's it. But I love the challenge. So they had a great email marketing list. We're able to like reinstate everything, but I would say the biggest case study there was after the holidays. We made that email list so valuable that we ran a sale all January. So when all of the businesses, their competitors were in their like dip I guess period after the holidays, we brought over like $100,000 in sales when their holiday months were like 150, 170,000, and 80% of that was just email with our exclusive sales. So we made an email list that was like half wiped off into a gold mine for sales. That was one of my favorites as well.
Oh wow, awesome. So you actually go under the hood. It's not about, just, the surface of, the
Oh
business,
yeah.
but it's really about,
Oh, absolutely. Like not too long ago, one of our clients called me because their Shopify website was down and they were running a sales. And me and Serge were literally out the door to go to a dinner. And I said, no, you gotta come back. We have to go back. I can't let him just like pull his hair out. So for like 1 hour, Serge was on Shopify support. I was on the phone with Shopify trying to get our clients like website up, and we went it went back up after like a couple hours. But yes, we are definitely under the hood, oiled
wow.
up, and well, I mean, you gotta do these things, right? Marketing is about strategy, absolutely. And I know that's the sexy things, right? Like everybody wants that. Everybody wants to come with a plan and the proposals and the charts and the beautiful colors. But at the end of the day, it's simplicity that sells, it's simplicity that works. It's the ugly stuff that makes it work, right? It's something as simple as looking into analytics and making just a couple tweaks to bring your open rates for emails by 5% or 10% more. That means so much in the bottom line. That's what I've
Wow.
learned over the last few years.
That's awesome, and that's eye opener for me as well. So definitely, and I believe there's a lot of value that you can bring to the table, especially helping organizations understand their social media strategy, maybe your unique selling points, online reputation you mentioned earlier. So that's awesome. So where can they find you? Website. I'll let you provide
Yeah.
your details.
Yeah, you can find me on our website, SnapAdvantage.com. We're in the middle of revamping it. So just working on it as we're talking. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll be ready. You can find us on Instagram. So my personal Instagram is Sandra Stepan, and our agency's Instagram is SnapAdvantage. Very, very simple. On LinkedIn, it's Sandra Stepan. I post a lot of marketing content. And even if you don't sell in North America, but you want to look at relevant marketing content, it is relevant to all parts of the world. And YouTube, Sandra Stepan, and Twitter, same Sandra Stepan. So nice and easy.
Awesome. That's awesome. So, and to our listeners, we'll include the links to the description. I'll get that to Sandra. And, if you have any suggestions, comments, feel free to, write your comment below. If you have any questions for Sandra as well, happy to facilitate that for you guys. So, and that's it for now. Sandra, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
It's,
you.
I understand you're very busy. So this is very special for me. And to our listeners,
Great.
if you have any additional topics that you would like to us to touch point on, or maybe if you have any suggestions, just let us know. Again, thank you so much, Joseph Indolos, Set to Fail podcast. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Likewise, Sandra. Thank you.